Hey guys, this is a totally, once again, unplanned and very raw video. And it wasn't even something that I was considering talking about. But last night I went through a very, very intense, transformative 8-hour ceremony with a shaman last night. And I went in with the intention of healing some sexual trauma. Now, I'm not going to go into the sexual trauma in this video. That's a video that deserves a whole other, that's a topic that deserves a whole other video, because it's something that's not spoken about, and it's something I never spoke about because there's a lot of shame and guilt and helplessness attached to that. And I know there's a lot of women out there that can relate to that. So I'm going to really honor that topic, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But I went into this ceremony with the intention to really heal a lot of that sexual trauma. And so, like, more than just that came out of it, so much came out of it. And one of the things that came out of it was, I don't know how long ago, maybe like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, I don't know, a long time ago, I had what you would call a stalker. And this stalker was actually a best friend of mine. We were best friends all throughout high school, really, really good friends. And then this friend had a drug-induced psychosis. And that's when everything changed, because it went from a friendship to really not understanding barriers and boundaries, and not understanding when I would verbalize the boundaries over and over again. They just didn't understand that. And a lot of things happened during that time, which was it was quite traumatizing, and instilled a lot of fear in me, particularly because it had actually brought up a lot of my past sexual trauma, even though nothing sexual happened with this person. But it was kind of leading in the way that started triggering those old fears coming up for me. And so I became very traumatized by it, and I just blocked them from Facebook. I wanted nothing to do with them. And then when I would see them, if I knew they were going to be at a party or something, I'd feel really nervous and scared, and I'd find that fear come up again. Looking back at that now, particularly after last night, and particularly because of everything that I've been sort of working through over the last couple of years, I've been going back in my life, and I've been making the conscious effort to actually restore all of the damaged friendships and connections that I've had with people that shouldn't have been broken along the way. I was paralyzed in fear and trauma because of what happened with that friend, but ultimately this person was my friend, and he had a drug-induced psychosis, and he needed his friends more than ever. And I just was not there for him, and I didn't understand him. And what's actually interesting about that is his drug-induced psychosis, and I use the word psychosis lightly because it didn't start out as a psychosis. What actually happened initially is he actually had, from this one experience, a profound amount of wisdom beyond all of our years. This was when we were 19 years old, and we were basically kids. He just downloaded all this profound wisdom that none of us could comprehend. In fact, there's a lot of adults in his life that couldn't comprehend it either. So he was immediately put into a mental institution, that he was fed all these drugs, constantly told he's crazy, surrounded by people who actually had, psychosis and all these kind of things. And then eventually he ended up having a psychosis, but it did not start that way. And I'm in the last, 5, 6 years, however long I've been on the, personal and spiritual development journey, I've really started to really understand some of the stuff he was saying back when we were children. He was beyond his years, and he was treated like a crazy person until he eventually became one. And it's sad. It's sad to think that, we just didn't understand him. And none of us were truly there for him when he really needed the support of his friends. And I was one of his best friends. And I allowed my own fears, my own trauma to basically completely cut him out of my life. And it's, looking back, it's like, by constantly, you know, cutting him out and fearing him and not allowing him anywhere near me, I wasn't giving him the opportunity to become, to grow into anything other than what he was, like what he was becoming, because of the system, because everyone was telling him he's crazy. You know, I added to the problem. I contributed to keeping him stuck in this identity that he is a crazy person, instead of giving him the support and love and understanding. And, you know, I didn't have the capacity to understand back then, honestly. Like, he was beyond my years from this one experience that he had. And yeah, I mean, the reason I don't want to go into any of the specifics of that period of time when I did feel quite fearful and stuff was because this is not so much about what he did. I really honor him, and I'm, from the bottom of my heart, like, I'm so sorry for like how I basically added to the problem, and I didn't help him when I was meant to be a friend during that time. And yeah, so I messaged him straight out of the ceremony. I messaged him and I just told him, like I'm putting every single thing that's happened in the past. I have not given you any opportunity to be anything other than what I knew you to be in the past. And I know, of course I know, that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. And he was doing the best he could with, you know, the situation that he was in, you know, being fed all these drugs in an institution, surrounded by people, all telling him he's crazy. Like, he was doing the best he could with the environment that he was in. And he's not in an institution anymore. And I believe that he's weaning off a lot of the drugs. And I've actually seen him a couple of times recently, and that fear is still, it's not going to be there anymore, I can guarantee that. But it was there when I would see him, because obviously the past is coming up. The past is irrelevant. The past is in the past. And if we're constantly living in the past, we're never giving anyone else in the present moment to be anything other than what we believe they are from the past. So I've sent him a message and I just told him, dude, like, for one, I'm so sorry for everything that I've contributed to what you've been through. You needed friends and I just wasn't that friend for you, and I'm so sorry. And I told him it's not going to be like that anymore, because, you know, I honor you and I appreciate you, and I know that you were doing the best you can, and I know that you want to continue to be better, and I'm here for you, basically. So now, I just felt really cool to share that, and it's applicable to anyone's life. Like, I guarantee there's people in your life who you've allowed your past experience with them influence your perception of who they are today. If you think about who you are today to who you were 10 years ago, are you the same person? You know, people say, oh, people never change. But if you knew me 10 years ago and you knew me now, you would know I'm not the same person. And so it's wrong of me to put that label on anyone else. That's not fair. So yeah, just think about that. Next time you're holding a grudge against someone that happened 10 years ago, is it really worth it? Is it really worth you staying in the past and keeping them in the past and just, you know, punishing everyone involved? Or can you just look at it from the perspective of, if you were in their shoes, in their situation, with their environment, would you have acted any different? And the answer is probably no. All right, so that's all from me today, guys. Hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.